As you recall in the Access Level 1 training video on group calculations, which you want to watch if you haven't, we learned how to add the totals row down below to the grid in our query. You can see, well, up here on the Design tab to the Show Hide group, click on Totals. It adds it down below. By default, it wants to group everything by. Group the customer name, any duplicates, group them together. And because that's the first one in the grid down below, it groups it by customer name first. And then after that, what's second in the grid, group by, will group by products. So if you want to group by products first, then click and drag that, or have the product listed first. So in other words, when I click on the Run button here, it groups all my customers together, and then after it groups it by customer name, it'll group them by product. Well, I just thought that the groups didn't allow duplicates. Well, it doesn't allow duplicate as far as the record goes, because here we've got All Weather Sports, and then we've got the group by product after that. So if it had duplicate products that the All Weather Sports client purchased, like Campfire Bag twice, it would go ahead and eliminate that, just list it once, but give us the total calculation for all the Campfire Bags that they purchased on, well, different transaction dates. But it gets a bit tricky when you're grouping them together. And for example, the total here for all the Campfire Bags, that's a calculated field or an expression that I added. Let me right click, go to the design view over here. And I'll go ahead and click in the cell and right click and go to zoom so you can see the entire expression. So anything to the left of the colon is the name of the field, and then to the right, look at what I'm doing here. I've got the quantity, and I'm multiplying it by the price each field. There's the quantity, multiplying it by the price each field. As you learned in earlier training videos, you could just simply say, well, why don't I just go ahead and say total sum square brackets, quantity, multiplied, square brackets, price each. Well, again, there are just some things that don't work when it comes to using the totals feature, and this is the way around it. Now, what does the sum mean? Well, it means to sum everything within the parentheses. What does the CUR mean? It means to format it in currency. So you can have the order of operation in the first set of parentheses, which says in the order details table, so you type in the table name, the exclamation point, the operator, says that once you're in the table, what comes after that is going to be the field that we're looking at. So in this table, operator, the quantity field, multiply, in this table, operator, the price each field. There's the first set of parentheses, and it says, okay, once you multiply it, put it in the format currency, and then once you go ahead and put in currency on the last order of operation outside of the last set of parentheses, they want to go ahead and sum up after it multiplies those fields and formats in currency, okay? So how many records do I have when I click Run? I got a total of 36, right? So it's eliminating the duplicates, but if I go back to the design view and let me click on the column header so it selects the entire column so I can delete that, and I said, okay, let me go ahead and do my own thing. Let me add total, colon, and we learned this in an earlier training video on adding a calculating field to our query, and let me do it just the way I explained it. Open square bracket, quantity, close square bracket, multiplied, open square bracket, price space EA for each, close square bracket, hit enter, and when it's grouped by, click on Run. How many records do I get? Don't get 36, I get 89. Why? Well, look at Campers Pampers. It's just a funny name, pardon me. Anyways, you got the screen tent that Campers Pampers purchased split up here. It's listed twice. We're getting duplicates. It can't keep the group together because it wants to group by the total here. You have the total here for the first transaction, the total here for the second transaction. I want to get it grouped together so I get a total for the client once for this product that it purchased, well, as many times as it wants, just once, okay? So then I have to manually come in here and go, okay, 1068 plus 890, that doesn't work. Not for me, you can do it, but let me go ahead and go to the design view. That's why this doesn't work. And you can't click on the drop down arrow and say it's an expression, because when you click the Run button, it doesn't get it because what we build here isn't a true expression. In other words, it doesn't have the expression that begins with the what I want to do, sum. In fact, you'll see it down here. Click on the drop down arrow, sum, average. And as you recall, let me close out and not save it. And right click, go back to the design view and open it up. As you recall here, there's that expression right there. Sum. What are the other expressions? I could go ahead and type in AVG prior to this expression, so it'll average after it multiplies those two fields together, give us the average. Like I said, there's tricks and tips that you can do to get around this, so you don't get, well, duplicate data, because that's the whole point of using the totals, adding that totals row down below to group things together to eliminate the duplicates, but yet get some calculations in those groups and not have them split. Let me do one more to show you the challenge when it comes to using the totals feature. I mean, it's a blessing, but also if you don't know what you're doing and what to look out for, it's also, well, I wouldn't say a curse, it's just a challenge to work around. For example, let's say that I want to go ahead and add the transaction date to the grid down below. Come up here, double click on it. I added it, and I want to set up the criteria to be able to find all those products that were purchased, let's say after March 1st of 08, because let's pretend we did a marketing campaign in the prior month, February, and I want to see the results of that campaign and see how much we made in total sales for each book per client. So I'd come down here in the criteria field, type in greater than, because that means later than, type in the date 3/1/08, hit enter, so Access can go ahead and check my work and also add the things that I forgot to add, which was the pound symbols around the date and also the 20 in 2008. Now when I go ahead and click the run button, the criteria works. It's everything after March 1st of 08. In fact, I can click on the date drop down arrow and sort oldest to newest. And there we go. It comes right after March 1st. There's March 2nd. Let me go ahead and click on to remove the sort. But the problem I run into is that even though I can go ahead and set this up, the criteria, I'm back to looking at the client. And because the transaction date's listed, if they made a purchase of the same product on two different dates, it's going to list it twice and not give me the sum total for that single product. So I have to come in here and go, okay, for Campfire Bag, the client purchased it on this date. Let's see, 1,170 plus 78, add those up. Well, I'm going to hit two birds with one stone, and this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and have this transaction date say only list or display those clients after March 1st of 2008 who purchased a product from us, but also have them grouped for that single product. How do you do it? Well, right click, go back to the design view, and do a simple tweak. Change group by, click on the drop down arrow to where. So what we're saying here is for the date where it's got to be greater than March 1st of 08. Not only that, but notice when I select where, it unchecks the show box. So in order for this to work, Access says is that we can't show it. So come up here, click the run button. I mean, that looks great. I don't see the transaction date, but I don't see campers with the screen tent that they purchased on two separate dates listed twice. I get the total here. So that's the good news. The bad news is that I can't view the transaction date because when I view it, then it's going to go ahead and say, okay, this was purchased on two separate dates and two separate orders, so I'm going to have to list that twice. So it's a double-edged sword. I mean, it's good in that if you're looking just to group it and get the totals there. It's not so good if you need to see that transaction date. Because if I come back here in the design view and I say, I want to see it and check it and click run, it says, what are you doing? We can't do this. Because if you show it, based upon the where feature, it's going to go ahead and show the duplicates, and it doesn't fit with that feature, so we have to uncheck it. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel to get notified of the latest videos. And for great specials on my products, please see the description below this video.